Hello, this is the Harboring Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So, introductions. Feel free to give me feedback, either email, Substack, X, and of course, fill those comments on YouTube. And on YouTube, it'd be greatly appreciated to like, share, and subscribe. And also, feel free to give me a rating on some of the platforms I'm fixing to list off for you. So, Spreaker, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Deezer, just to name a few. All right, so this episode is about Poland, in particular the foods. And of course, I'm going to give my feedback perspective about it, along with facts. Here we go. Okay, before I get right into it, my thoughts. I don't know, it's something about the fall. I'm giving my aspects about the fall season, with hearty meals seem to come into play with that. And so that means something vastly different depending on which region you're part of the country, part of what continent you're from, what region in America you're from. Something hearty has to do with going through, food, literally fuel for the body to get from point A to point B. Specifically if you're living in blizzard regions or continents, for instance, like Alaska, I can imagine getting for everywhere you gotta go, and then even in the metropolitan cities, when it snows and all of these things, you need something sustainable. You need something hardy to fuel your day. And getting on to the Midwest and up north, North Dakota, Minnesota, places like that, hearty meals are not only necessary, but they're comforting too. And when I get into the aspects about Polish food and how everything started, and then I put a little bit of political history in there. It's quite interesting how that all wraps itself and involves itself into the cuisine. Specifically not only when you're thinking about the foods that they eat in the fall and everything, and to me that brings to mind, what was the thought process behind it, and then how does that, what was originally thought about being traditionally eaten in the fall and in this region, how does that translate to now? And what is the revamp of it, or is it still treasured and just remastered to what it originally was to fit the needs of now, and not doing something where it's just a touch of it, but it's just something completely different. And that's another thing that I think is so great about food. It tells a story that is quite unique to the culture. And yes, sweetie. And it also gets into the aspects of what we think and what we feel. You know, and the basic principles of what people think. Well, not along lines of thinking, of the emotional aspects of the process about food. And when you get into the, not only when you go along the lines of just seeing food as something you need for survival or something you need for fuel, when you get into the aspect of food as something that's part of the cultural process of enjoyment, you start to see more and more the impact of this is really something that's, baby, mommy. This is really something that is relevant to how people think about themselves as far as what they value in a society. And so I think that, people get that, but I think that's missing a lot when people say, oh, you shouldn't look at food as a means of culture. That's something completely different. But I would beg to differ that it is right in the same realm of everything. So, when you break it down, you look at it. So, okay, good food versus processed food. What does that say about society? What does that say about how people feel and think and function? Because when you eat food that's healthy, that's resourceful, food that's fresh from the farm versus food that's processed, it's never seen the light of day of any kind of source of life that really, hold on, sweetheart, just a minute, okay, that really sends a message to how people move about from day to day. And then all the and it really takes an impact, from the negative point of view about it. Or if you constantly feed yourself, crap all the time, you're not gonna have, that much of a good, healthy perspective. Move through life pretty well, and you won't be able. And then it's even worse for children because they won't develop properly. And then all of these things are very relevant to talk about and to look at as far as a means of how a society moves. Okay, with all of this said, getting right into the aspects of the facts about food from Poland. All right, and of course the source will be provided for you in this episode. So it's entitled, it's from culture.pl. So it's entitled A Foreigner's Guide to Polish Cuisine. And it says, let me get to a short history of Polish cuisine. So the oldest published Polish cookbook, Stanislaw, the Comprehendum Foreign Rumpf from 1682 shows that much has changed over the last 4 centuries. The volume offers very detailed advice as this. So this is one example of the advice in the cookbook. It says, take a live capon, pour wine, vinegar down its throat with a funnel, tie and hang it for 5 hours, pluck it nicely, and bake or prepare as you wish. Even in the early years, several distinguishing elements of Polish cuisines are apparent nevertheless. First and foremost, There is the variety of foreign influences, a rather unsurprising feature considering Polish impressive culture diversity and their diversity at the time. And I definitely agree. Like I was saying in the beginning, the aspect of the surroundings of when something originated, of how does that translate into modern cooking processes of today. So, indeed, Polish cuisines initial taste palette was essentially Eastern from the 19th century onwards. Not only were Asian spices in use, but they were also prevalent. Later on, the arrival of the Jewish people in Poland during the Middle Ages led to a further expansion of taste. The Renaissance also piled Polish kings with flocks of foreign queens, all of which brought specialties from their own land. So there is one example of Bona Sforza, I believe the pronunciation. She was the Italian wife of Sigmund the First. The old she changed the Polish cuisine through her love of vegetables. So to this day, Polish stores sell little bundles of carrots, leeks, parsnips, celery root, and cabbage called I'm gonna attempt it, but Włoszczana, or Italian stuff. And my Polish friends out there that listen to me, and I know it's from Warsaw too, and different regions of Poland. Let me know about it. Give me feedback. Would be great and important about the aspect of food and culture. What you all who listen to me think. So Poland subsequently had portions or assimilations into Russian cuisines, Persian cuisines, and Austrian empires had the influence on Polish food. So it's left enough of a mark for German or Austrian, Russian, and Ukrainian inspirations. Visitors today notice familiar dishes, if always with a local twist. Unsurprisingly, the two world wars kept the glory of Polish cuisines dormant for most of the 20th century, although opinions are divided as the faults or merits of food under communist rule. And that is a harsh reality, that you live under communist rule. There's not much, call it what it is. And the people that understand that and that actually live through that, they know that that's not the way to live. You don't have a value sense of life. You don't have any sense of direction. Who wants to live in a regime or communist thought process that, I'm going to just I'm just gonna decide to do something, and you're gonna have to do it whether you want to or not, or this all for one notion that knocks off the aspect of individual determination and persistence and discipline. Is not relevant or not important. As we're all in it, and we all give, and we all this, and you just have to deal with it. And then you have a catch-all thing where one size fits all, and that's the way it is, and that's really unfortunate. It's really sad. But that's nice. That's a nice touch that this person who wrote this article, put this real aspect in there instead of doing a fluff piece or saying doing a propagandist piece that's very unfortunate for the prosperous aspect of a society that's not being truthful, that just wants to spew, lies, being fake about the reality situation of how horrible that is to live in a communist rule. But that's I appreciate that. That's great. All right, so while it's difficult to expound or expand on the recent past as good or bad, few people will question the fact that Polish cuisine has experienced a tremendous soar of energy and sophistication over the last decade. So they go on to some must try. So pierogi, most iconic Polish food is pierogi. It needs no introduction. It seems that pierogi ruski, or the beloved dumplings stuffed with potatoes and cheese, are one of the most popular varieties both in Poland and abroad. Pierogi with meat fillings are quite popular as well. So pork, you can get it in these varieties: pork, beef, and chicken, as well as veal, often served with bacon. So more sophisticated versions come from so you have lamb, duck, or goose baked into it. So I believe the pronunciation of that is schabowy. In Poland, you may be served. It looks good. It looks like some kind of patty, but some fried pork chops essentially. So in Poland, you may be served something that looks like and tastes like a schnitzel, but be aware that this is no Wiener Schnitzel. The kapowi came to Poland in the 19th century, most likely as a pork variation of the latter. So pickles. Polish cuisine is often associated with pickling. First and foremost, pickled cucumbers and cabbage, often known as English freeker, as a sauerkraut, as well as the juice from these pickles in the form of beetroot. Baby. So there's a special breed of sheep called Polish mountain sheep. Baby, quit doing that. Don't mess with that, sweetheart. And so it's a mountain cheese, and it looks quite tasty. And out of this, they get the cheese from the particular mountain sheep, and with the heart, as it says, is giving the aspect of how fresh it is, that the element that is pasteurized. This is not processed meat, cheese. This is not a processed cheese. It's straight from the farm. Baby, quit. I know. So it's pronounced Golwan Bai. Literally, it means little pigeons, and they are made by filling white cabbage leaves with a stuffing made of rice and minced meat, and served with either tomato or mushroom gravy. It's simmered or baked in a variety of broth flavors. They always taste best on the second or even third day. That's interesting when flavors tend to be at their best with the longer shelf life it has. So the recipe for kanansa differs regionally, but the most popular version is stuffed buckwheat, blood, and liver, lungs, skin, and fat, and an intestine casting. Kielbasa. And those are, you in certain regions, you know what I'm talking about. So this and other sausages are easily found in Poland on weekdays, at parties, or during Christmas or Easter. Polish cold hams and sausages are traditionally served in cuts with cold sides. Hold on, baby. Pickled mushrooms and a spicy horseradish, just to name a few. And a mixture of shredded beets and horseradish. And you can also have tartar sauce, mustard, or root vegetable salad. Also fried on open fires, they are often added to soups and stews as well. Zurich. So fermented flour or soup, yes, it's possible. In Poland, Zurich is one of the most surprising tasting and old-fashioned soups known to the country's cuisine. Hold on, sweetie. The soup is made with flour rye. What, baby? Go sit down, baby. Sorry, my baby girl. Gotta take care of her. Go sit down, okay? All right, so sour rye is a naturally fermented liquid mixture of water, spices, and rye flour. The ambiguous Zurich is prepared in countless national variations. And, of course, they add in the alcohol if you're interested. So we got vodka. So it says this is the quintessential Polish beverage. On the other hand, Polish produce several exquisite luxury vodkas, which connoisseurs praise extravagantly. On the other hand, Polish tends to keep vodka for a large gathering and formal occasions. It was the most easily accessible alcohol of communist years, but the economic transition has sparked many breweries, both large and small, and on a daily basis, beer is encountered more frequently. So, craft beers now comes in all sorts and sizes, blonde or dark, unpasteurized, honey or otherwise flavored beer, porter, stout, Bock beer, wheat beer. There are countless local beers where bartenders and waiters will gladly elaborate on their various properties. Cider. Poland could also become the new European cider. Equipped with the new European cider, which is El Dorado. There we go. El Dorado, with 3 million tons of apple grown every year. Poland produces as many apples as Spain produces grapes. So Polish consumers have turned towards quality. Don't do that, baby. The Arsenal cider markers, who aim to put the apple in the bottle with minimal manipulation. When looking for a Polish cider, avoid large brand names and look for the wide assortment of non-industrial gems. All right. So, special occasions and feasts for every holiday. On Christmas, without a doubt, the most spectacular meal one could enjoy while in Poland is the traditional 12-course Christmas feast. The number 12 symbolizes wealth, 12 apostles, and the 12 months of the year. Some specific dishes may differ from region to region, but many of them are universal. So carp is one of those staples, along with beet soup and herring in one form or another. Easter, from a culinary point of view, in Poland, Easter can be equally charming, if not quite, on the same level. And I'm talking about for Christmas. So the feast consists of smoked meats and ham, and kielbasa is the center stage. So it can be bala kielbasa, which is unsmoked minced pork sausage with a tradition of beef and veal, covered with thin layer of pork casing in it, and seasoned with Salt, pepper, garlic, and eggs are served in every possible way, and cheese and yeast cakes are baked in abundant numbers. On weddings. So, furthermore, guests of traditional Polish weddings can look forward to a very long, very filling evening. Current wedding guides advise that for a standard wedding lasts about 12 hours. There are typically served between 4 and 5 hot entrees along with appetizers, pastries, cakes, and fruits. So if you furnish your first meal and find it wasn't to your liking or very filling, just wait, there's more. So, the same wedding guide suggests that a hot meal be served approximately every 3 hours. Menus will vary according to the specific couple's taste, but guests can expect a spread of cold starters to include cheese, meats, vegetables, and herring, just to name a few. There probably will be soup or two. Hot entrees might include grilled meats, roast chicken, smoked or baked fish, pork loin, or hearty stews. Guests also typically are treated to pastries and fruitcakes. All right, with that being said, sweets and pastries. All right, so here is an apple pie. Version of an apple pie. Essentially, this is what it is. It is a year-round favorite. There are hundreds of recipes for this dessert. The Polish name is szlachta. Now, forgive me for that pronunciation. So it comes from the French, or if you please, the English word charlotte, which dating from the 18th century designates an old oven-baked mass of fruits under a slice of bread. So it was invented by Marie Antoinette, and the dessert came to Poland in the 19th century. Today, Polish apple pies usually have half crisp or crisp base. There are raisins, cinnamons, and cloves inside. So, Polish donuts. There are Polish donuts, but their taste places them firmly above most other donuts on this sweeter side of everything. So, as shaped like a flattened spear, they are fried in deep oil, so they are not exactly of the low-calorie persuasion. There are a variety of fillings: rose marmalade, liqueur, pudding, just to name a few. And it says on Fat Tuesday, the last day before Lent, tens of millions of these treats are consumed across Poland. So it also gives the suggestion for food tourism, where they eat in Poland. To eat well in Poland, there exists one golden rule: ask around, which is, quite true. And it gives more of a good experience that you can have about a country and understanding a country. If you feel, you'll break down that obstacle of not feeling that with that aspect of, I'm a stranger in a strange land. You can't really. What's the point in that if you have that fear and negativity? You're smart about it. You know where to go. You move around like anywhere else. You're in your hometown, or where you're in America and your hometown where you live. You know where to go. Where it's safe. You find these things. You treat it the same way. And then that's how you figure out things. You ask around, you find out. And that's very prevalent. So I'm going to end on this. So it says, alternative trends, Polish food for special diets. It says, Warsaw's vegetarian restaurant are visited by as many vegetarians or vegans as meat eaters, who know where good meatless food is served. Meals are comprised of fresh and seasonal local vegetables, together with uncommon growths and herbs. Prices are low, and daily specials are announced on social media. At such places, the chefs and waiters are usually young and dynamic. They can be unstoppable inventors and experimenters who do not believe in microwaves. They know that spices behave differently in meatless meals and love to serve health on a plate. Hummus with red beets and cloves, lentil, mushrooms. Burgers between gluten-free, corn-free buns, and mango parsley smoothies are some of the examples of the latest Poland culinary evolution of cuisine. Additionally, life choices less mainstream than vegetarian have appeared in very recent years. While the cuisine of Central and Eastern Europe may have an unhealthy reputation, vegan and gluten-free options have become readily available in Poland today. Duly noted, and that's quite nice to know, as I was saying, how things evolve and to fit the needs of today and to keep up with that. And that helps you, again, all these things help expel and help really dig deeper into the fabric of what a culture is saying about themselves, how they feel about themselves. And that's a nice touch to end on, I think. So I'd like to know what all of you think as far as the aspect of food in Poland. And my Polish listeners out there, give me feedback. I would greatly appreciate it. And food in general, I like to know because I love food. I'm a foodie, I can say that. And I like to know what you all think about the aspect of food and culture. All right, so either reach out to me through email, Substack, X, and of course, fill up those comments on YouTube. It'd be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, so this reaches the end of the Harboring Light. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care. Bye-bye.